You're watching Coin TV, Channel 6.
President Clinton goes on national television to make the case for sending U.S. ground troops to Bosnia and asked your support. The first U.S. soldiers will join these French troops in Bosnia tomorrow. Bob Simon is there tonight with a report on what the Americans will be up against. Also tonight, possible corruption in 401k retirement plans and how a world run by adults failed this young child.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
And this is a special Western edition. Good evening. Saying America alone can make the difference between war and peace, President Clinton tonight made his case for sending 20,000 U.S. troops to Bosnia. He said the mission will be clear, limited, and achievable, and that he will take every measure to minimize the risk. The president spoke to the nation from the White House. Correspondent Rita Braver is there. Rita?
That's right, Dan. The president said that America's values and interests require that the U.S. help enforce the peace in Bosnia. He spoke of the need to bring stability to Europe and of the U.S. role as one of the world's most trusted nations.
There are times and places where our leadership can mean the difference between peace and war, and where we can defend our fundamental values as a people and serve our most basic strategic interests. My fellow Americans, in this new era, there are still times when America and America alone can and should make the difference for peace. The terrible war in Bosnia is such a case. Nowhere today is the need for American leadership more stark or more immediate than in Bosnia.
The president said the mission will last about 1 year and will be precisely defined. U.S. troops will make sure each side withdraws behind the front lines and stays there. They'll take orders from the American NATO commander. They'll be heavily armed and have the authority to respond to any threats with overwhelming force.
As president, my most difficult duty is to put the men and women who volunteer to serve our nation in harm's way when our interests and values demand it. I assume full responsibility for any harm that may come to them. But anyone contemplating any action that would endanger our troops should know this. America protects its own. Anyone who takes on our troops will suffer the consequences. We will fight fire with fire, and then some.
Now, the president says a small advance mission will head to Bosnia next week. More troops will be deployed by mid-December. But in the meantime, the White House will be running a very heavy lobbying campaign to try to gain support from Congress and the American people. Dan?
Rita Braver at the White House. Republican leaders in Congress said it was up to the president to make his case tonight and answer a wide range of questions about the Bosnia plan. Right after the president's speech, I talked with Senate Republican leader Bob Dole.
I have a strong belief in the power of the president, the constitutional authority the president of the United States has and must have, and no doubt about it, whether Congress agrees or not, the troops will go to Bosnia. So those are facts. We need to find some way to be able to support the president, and I think we need to wait and see what the American reaction is.
The NATO plan calls for U.S. forces to be based in the Muslim city of Tuzla. That's near the front lines of the 4-year-old civil war, which was started by outside powers. Correspondent Bob Simon is in Tuzla tonight.
The first Americans are scheduled to arrive in Tuzla tomorrow. The first Americans, some are here already, keeping a low profile behind big Norwegians and dark shades.
How do you like Tuzla so far?
Outstanding.
Bosnia is often called a minefield, and it's not just a metaphor. Countless thousands of mines have been planted by all parties, and this road, which is in the American sector, is being cleared now by the French. They've been at it every day for 2 weeks. How many have they found? Not a one, but they're still looking. Mines might be less of a problem than monotony. This is the most hotly contested corridor in the American zone, but the small Swedish force patrolling it now is encountering no resistance whatsoever.
The situation in this area is, for the moment, really calm.
Sarajevo is still a danger zone. The agreement gives it to the Bosnian government, which is why the Serbs who've held on to a few suburbs have been demonstrating all weekend. But Sarajevo's in the French sector. the Americans won't be anywhere near it.
Of course there are risks. Bosnia has become a deadly place, and Dayton left all parties with grievances, unfinished agendas, and scores to be settled. Perhaps that's why the president wants to send in an armored division and not the Peace Corps.
Will it all fall apart when the Americans pull out in a year? That's considered to be a real danger, especially if everyone knows exactly when that will be. Bob Simon, CBS News, Tuzla.
Still ahead, new charges today in the case of a black motorist in Pennsylvania who died during 7 minutes of police custody. And later, Bernard Goldberg's America. Do you know this man? He's betting millions of his own dollars that you soon will.
You ready?
Yes.
Tell me what you smell.
I have no idea.
You're really stuffed.
Yes.
I have a nasal spray I want to give you. Now, what do you smell?
That's an orange.
You got it. Curious about the product?
Dristan.
Dristan 12-hour nasal spray.
Man, I can breathe.
It's a great time to be silver because you're over 50 and you haven't lost your edge. Now there's a Centrum made just for you. Centrum Silver for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver. It's a great time to be silver.
Hey, Remington, shave this.
The newest Remington Triple Foil. The only shaver with 3 micro screens now has a 50% greater cutting rate for a close, smooth shave. The Remington Triple Foil. If you can grow it, we can shave it.
So at Janie's school play, I get this cough. Somebody handed me these Robitussin cough drops. They worked right away, and I could feel those vapors. But Robitussin took the spotlight off me and put it where it belonged.
Robitussin cough drops from the cough experts.
U.S. Labor Secretary Robert Reich is preparing to go public tomorrow with the latest about possible misuse, even outright employer theft, of worker contributions to 401k plans at more than 300 U.S. companies. These investment plans are fast becoming a worker's major and often only source of retirement income. Economics correspondent Ray Brady has a preview tonight of why your 401k may not be A-OK.
Aerospace engineer Charles Bell and his wife had it made, piling up savings in his 401k investment plan, until they learned that every penny of it was gone, allegedly taken by the company's owner.
I lost about $30,000. You're talking about 2.5, almost 3 years, where what you're investing for your retirement.
Joe Colucci's 401k disappeared as well.
There was money was being skimmed from the plan. In excess of about $3 million.
The Labor Department reports more than 400 complaints have been filed for, among other things, outright theft and companies using 401k money to keep themselves afloat.
This is a criminal action on the part of the company, taking the money that does not belong to the company and using it for the company's purposes.
For nearly 20 million Americans, the 401 plan is a major source of retirement income. $747 million a week from workers' paychecks goes into the plans, a hoard of money that now totals $500 billion. But how serious is the risk? So far, complaints have come at smaller companies. At Wisconsin's Dukas Motors, owner William Dukas faces indictment. The charge, misappropriating more than $12,000 in 401k funds. At St. Louis's Y&A Group, Malcolm Cheek was jailed on charges that included embezzling $254,000 from the 401k plan. And at Charles Bell's firm, the owners sold the company and allegedly skipped out with $2.75 million in 401k funds. With some business slowing down, the temptation grows for companies to dip into the funds, especially since Congress has never written safeguards into the law to make sure that the money reaches and stays in workers' plans. Ray Brady, CBS News, New York.
In South Korea, riot police today beat back students armed with steel pipes. They were trying to march on the home of former military ruler Chun Doo-hwan. He led a bloody crackdown on pro-democracy demonstrators in 1980.
There are many prescription pain medicines, and a doctor can prescribe any of them. Yet 82% of doctors surveyed have prescribed Arutis. And now, for the first time, it's available in a non-prescription strength. New Arudis KT. It's so potent, just 25 milligrams is as effective as 400 milligrams of Motrin IV, 440 of Aleve, or 1,000 milligrams of extra-strength Tylenol. New Arudis KT, the potent medicine for pain.
Fibercon or Metamucil? Both give you the same predictable regularity, the same natural action of fiber. So what makes Fibercon different? With Fibercon, I get my fiber in 2 caplets. Fibercon, fiber regularity that's easier to take.
You build a razor with a precision groove to help the Norelco lift and cut system shave closer than ever before. And what do you get? The Norelco razor, our closest shave ever.
What did you eat this weekend?
A couple of burgers Friday night, a couple of hot dogs at the game on Saturday, 2 tacos, and some ice cream, some pancakes for brunch. You know, that's funny. I should have exploded about an hour ago.
If you kind of ate your way through the weekend, start turning things around tomorrow with Kellogg's Special K cereal. Just 110 calories, not a speck of fat. Get those delicious, lightly toasted Special K flakes. Let your taste buds continue to enjoy. Start taking off what you took on this weekend. Make Monday Special K Day.
America's cattle ranchers, rugged, hard-working, and many of them are losing their hide on every steer they sell.
I'll probably lose $30,000 to $50,000.
But if prices are down, why are you paying more at the meat counter?
We're being ripped off, and so is the consumer.
Somebody's making money. Eye on America takes a hard look tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
House Speaker Newt Gingrich made it official today. He is not going to enter the Republican presidential race. He gave several reasons. Among several he did not cite, growing indications of a possible public backlash against his legislative agenda, especially Medicare, and against Gingrich himself. More now about how the presidential campaign is shaping up tonight from correspondent Phil Jones.
The architect of the Republican Revolution has decided not to seek the ultimate bully pulpit.
And we decided that we would explicitly, definitely close the door, so there's no more speculation. I will not run next year for president.
Gingrich refused to endorse anyone else. But in Wisconsin today...
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to introduce to you the next president of the United States.
Governor Tommy Thompson endorsed...
the great senator from Kansas, Bob Dole.
And had a warning for the president.
You asked for a race against Bob Dole, and you're going to get one.
But even as the GOP field appears to be solidifying, Republicans wonder whether any of these candidates could beat President Clinton. And then there's the maneuvering of a new group dubbed the Secret Seven, not happy with either party. They've been plotting on the phone. The participants, Democrats, Senator Bill Bradley, former Senators Gary Hart and Paul Tsongas, former Colorado Governor Richard Lamb, ex-Congressman Tim Penny, and independents, Maine Governor Angus King, and former Senator and Governor Lowell Weicker, who says he might run.
I mean, you cannot take a look at the political scene around you and envisage anything but a total war zone devoid of the greatness that belongs to this country.
Could Bill Bradley be a strong candidate?
Oh, I think he'd be a very strong candidate. Bill's got a great demeanor about him. He's got a fine mind.
And in what's sure to fuel speculation, Bradley's new book, Time Present, Time Past, a book about himself, will be published in January. And guess what? He'll be on a big book-selling tour just as the presidential year is launched. Sound familiar, General Powell? Phil Jones, CBS News, Washington.
Some of the most controversial advertising campaigns these days don't involve candidates, but do involve competing special interest groups. Case in point, the chapter and verse going back and forth between the politically active group calling itself, quote, the religious right, and politically active groups supporting gay and lesbian rights. Edie Magnus has both sides of the story.
Homosexuality is an abomination.
The message is anything but subtle.
God hates homosexuality.
This controversial advertising campaign was conceived by the group Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, or PFLAG, which believes attacks on homosexuals can be linked to the rhetoric of the religious right.
They, as leaders in this country, they need to watch their words. Words have consequences.
It is a pathology. It is a sickness.
It's creating a climate of intolerance that is downright dangerous for our children.
The scenes are dramatizations based on fact. A high number of suicides among young gay men and women. A series of gay bashings in Texas.
My son Paul was brutally murdered.
The FBI said it was a gay bashing.
The intent of the ad is to make Christian ministers look like they are heartless and lacking in love and are not interested in helping the homosexual find his way out of moral perversion into a normal lifestyle. That, to me, is defamatory.
Pat Robertson's Christian Broadcasting Network says his statements have been taken out of context and threatened to sue local stations if they aired the ads. And so far, all TV stations in the first 4 cities approached won't run them. Some stations claim creative differences are to blame. Free speech advocates fear the real reason is intimidation.
One of the reasons we have a First Amendment is to let people who have very strong views express them strongly, particularly in response to very harsh things that have been said about them.
The group sponsoring the ad says it will continue trying to put its point across to Americans. But in today's litigious environment, it will take a brave and wealthy station to risk airing them. Edie Magnus, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead, the death of young Elisa, how the system failed her.
Ah, the good old days of supermarket shopping, when nothing stood between you and your next meal. Nothing. But today, there are materials that help lock out harmful contaminants and reduce spoilage, keeping us safe and the food we eat fresh. Plastics make it possible. So now, the rest is history.
Personal hygiene is a responsibility. Hold your brush at a 45-degree angle. 45 degrees. Use strokes half a tooth wide.
It's not easy fighting plaque.
Gentle.
That's why there's the new Norelco Dentaflex. Its unique dual-action brush is tough on plaque, and it flexes back if you press too hard.
Don't forget those back teeth. They're not back there because they're not important. Plaque can be stubborn as a mule.
Norelco Dentaflex. Don't brush the hard way.
It's a new pill to fight gas. Fast. It's concentrated. It's powerful. It's a new soft gel. It's got no taste. Introducing new extra strength Gas X soft gels.
Always brought me luck.
White Diamonds, the intriguing fragrance from Elizabeth Taylor. White Diamonds for the holidays, a $71 value, just $55.
Mothers have learned from countless doctors and pharmacists that the way to take care of a cough is with fast, soothing Robitussin. And they've taken this advice home.
Next.
Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom.
Hey, that was my idea. Sorry. Plump, delicious Sunsweet Orange Essence Pitted Prunes. Sunsweet, always a sweet idea.
Ranchers like these are losing their hide on every steer they sell. So why are you paying more at the meat counter? Somebody's making money. Eye on America takes a hard look tomorrow.
It will be up to the California Attorney General's office to investigate whether Detective Mark Furman lied under oath during the O.J. Simpson trial. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office said today it had handed off the case to avoid even the appearance of a possible conflict of interest. In another closely watched case, criminal charges were filed in Pittsburgh today against white police officers in the death of a black man they were arresting. Correspondent Jacqueline Adams has that story.
Friends and relatives of Johnny Gamage found some measure of comfort today. 3 of the 5 police officers involved in a vicious struggle following a traffic stop were indicted.
Police officers are here to protect and serve, not to kill someone for a traffic stop.
The October 12th incident triggered a coroner's inquest, which recommended homicide charges against all 5 officers. But the Allegheny County District Attorney said his decision was appropriate. 2 are facing murder in the 3rd degree, and 1 a lesser charge, involuntary manslaughter.
I am, again, deeply committed to the idea that Mr. Gamage should not be dead after 7 minutes of police custody.
Gamage's famous relative, Pittsburgh Steelers defensive tackle Ray Seals, was dismayed, though, that Officer Albert, believed to have used a baton, his foot, and a knee against his cousin, was not also charged with murder.
You know, it's my cousin, so
It's real important to me to know that justice is going to be done.
But one of the two officers facing the most severe charge believes Gamage himself may have contributed to his death.
As I know in my mind, I wasn't out to hurt Mr. Gamage. I was trying to effect an arrest on this motorist that evening.
The prosecutor is confident of conviction, though. One and maybe two of the unindicted officers are expected to testify against the others. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, Pittsburgh.
A heartbreaking story here in New York, raising questions from the nation at large. A young girl has been brutally beaten and killed by her own mother. As correspondent John Roberts reports, the core question is how all the government safeguards against child abuse could have failed so badly.
Family and friends held a wake for Elisa Izquierdo in an open casket so everyone could see how badly she'd been abused.
If they didn't tell me it was her, I would never know it was Lisa. Out of the way.
The 6-year-old was killed Wednesday, police say, by her mother after years of ritualized abuse in which she was battered and burned.
In my 22 years, I've never seen any child, any person ever abused in that way.
Awilda Lopez lost custody of Elisa soon after she was born, cocaine addicted, in 1989. The girl lived with her father until his death from cancer last year. Despite warnings from relatives and school officials of previous abuse, a judge sent Elisa back to her mother.
In this type of case, we know they fumbled the ball and that there was a death. But there are hundreds of other thousands of cases across the country and thousands in New York City, believe me, where they're sending kids back to abusive parents and no one ever knows about it.
Even in Elisa's case, we may never know what happened to the complaints of abuse or why the judge made her decision. In the world of child welfare, officials and agencies are protected from scrutiny. Public oversight and accountability are prohibited by 100-year-old laws that keep child abuse cases confidential. An angry New York governor said today he'll push for change.
There's a wall of secrecy, and that wall of secrecy prevents us from seeing where the bureaucracy went wrong, where people failed to take action.
In Elisa's Lower East Side Manhattan neighborhood, they're taking action, raising money to pay for her funeral, and wondering how a system that failed so miserably to protect a child can use the law to protect itself. John Roberts, CBS News, New York.
When we heard there's a hot cereal with crunch, we said, great. But how? Then we tried grape nuts cooked hot. Just add milk and pop it in the microwave.
60 seconds for a little crunch.
I want a big crunch.
30 seconds for a big crunch.
We thought all hot cereals were the same.
Mushy.
Yeah.
But not grape nuts cooked hot. All that warm goodness plus that hearty, nutty crunch make it taste so different. So good. So...
Now Mom's getting mushy.
Yeah.
Discover grape nut cereal cooked hot. Finally, a hot cereal with crunch.
Hi, I'm from Radio Shack. Can we talk?
I guess.
Your wife wants to know what you want for Christmas.
She does?
Yep. So when she asks us, we can tell her something like this, or something like this personal color TV from Radio Shack.
Oh, jeez. I don't know.
Come on, Frank.
It's okay now. Take your time.
All right. Let me smell the TV.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good one, Frank.
Gifts men want at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Look what Betty Crocker's whipped up. A richer-than-rich brownie bar.
Ooh.
That's totally fat-free.
Fat-free?
You heard me. Now all the best of Betty's in a fat-free, ready-to-eat brownie. New sweet rewards.
Betty ought to get a reward for these.
In the mood for something wild? Have a fiesta from Campbell's. The soup with a spicy mix of rousing rice, colorful carrots, and the pizzazz of sweet red peppers. You'll fall for the flavor.
You in pain? Not now. My doctor gave me Tylenol, extra strength. Wait, Tylenol works after knee surgery? Here I am.
From post-surgical pain to headaches, doctors recommend Tylenol the most. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
The fact that dairy foods and my stomach don't agree won't keep me from enjoying every bite of ice cream. I just take New Lactate Extra Strength. It has 50% more of the natural ingredient that helps me digest dairy.
New Lactate Extra Strength for the love of dairy.
The United States of America, land of opportunity where anyone can dream of becoming president. The only constitutional requirements are that you be over 35, a natural-born citizen, and a U.S. resident at least the past 14 years. Sounds easy enough, but you also need a lot of money. You're about to meet a man who has the ego and the money in Bernard Goldberg's America.
You know it, and I know it. Except for one or two, maybe three of these guys, your crazy aunt in the basement has a better chance of being elected president. So why do they run? Why do they spend so much time and money on a mission impossible?
Join me in welcoming presidential candidate Maury Taylor.
I mean, even Maury Taylor, who's never run for anything in his whole life, is running for president. Yes, he is the very same Maury Taylor you never heard of.
If you want to know who would come, I'd invite to the White House.
Yeah.
Because I love to dance.
Yeah.
I can outdance all the candidates with my wife and I. I'd bring Bruce, the boss, Springsteen. That's my campaign song, Dancing in the Dark.
Maury Taylor is 51. He's a businessman. He's a Republican. And he's a big wheel in the big wheel business. His company makes wheels for tractors and tanks. And one more thing, Maury Taylor's got no use for politicians.
The trade problem that has cost Americans hundreds of thousands of jobs is too simple for politicians to understand. They make it hard for us to trade over there. We make it hard for them to trade over here. And we get our jobs back. Now, wouldn't you call that fair trade? You better have a lot of cash.
Maury Taylor is a mogul from Michigan who so far has spent $5 million of his own money running for president.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I know that. I've worked for it, right?
Now I do too.
I've worked for it, right? Okay, I know how much it is.
And he's prepared to spend $5 million more to get him through the Iowa caucus and the New Hampshire primary.
You think you can win Iowa?
I wouldn't be here if I didn't think I could win Iowa.
And you think you can win New Hampshire if you win Iowa?
There's no doubt in my mind.
Let me ask you a question, Maury. Does the word long shot mean anything to you?
Been a long shot my whole life.
Actually, Maury Taylor's not a long shot. He's not doing that well. But that hasn't stopped any of the others, so why should it stop Maury? Last month, the Republicans let him take part in their debate in New Hampshire. They even let him in the class picture. Try to find Maury. Here's a hint. So when they treat you like Rodney Dangerfield, and when you find yourself campaigning in auto junkyards, you have to wonder, do I really want to be president?
Just get rid of the politicians down here. But when you think about it, why wouldn't Maury Taylor want to be president? Why wouldn't anybody want to be president? You get to fly around in a big airplane. You get all the free food you want. You get those little M&Ms with the presidential seal. It's good to be president.
What about the M&Ms?
You can keep them.
That's not why you're running?
I don't really care for the M&Ms.
With the presidential seal on them?
No. There's no reason to want to be president unless you just want to go in and fix it. It's la-la land.
A lot of people think Maury's already in la-la land, which is why they keep asking him the same old question.
Everyone asks, how do you think you can win? Well, if Clinton can win...
So why do they run? Business mogul Maury Taylor believes I can become president. And he's got a lot of company. Just ask President Dornan or President Keyes. How about President Forbes, President Buchanan, President Lugar, President Alexander?
And that's part of our world tonight. Tomorrow on CBS This Morning, all the overnight developments from Bosnia, Bob Simon live from Tuzla, and reaction to President Clinton's address. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. See you again tomorrow. Good night.